And we are back in Studio K so quickly. How you doing, Nina, after that wonderful performance?
I'm great. I feel good.
That's great. Yeah, we were just talking about how quiet, peaceful it is in here.
It's so quiet and peaceful.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the solo performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Great. Well, first things first, can I just have you formally introduce yourself and what you do?
Yes. My name is Nina Luna. I am a singer, songwriter, producer, instrumentalist, not of many instruments, but I play keys and guitar.
Yeah.
That's the main stuff.
Totally. Yeah, that's great. Well, let's talk about what you played today. So the first couple songs were some older ones, right?
Yeah.
Dark Heart was the first one. That feels like a very, very emotional piece. Do you want to talk a little bit about the inspiration behind that song?
Yeah. I wrote that song like almost 10 years ago now. Without like actually dating, without actually like putting any age on it. But it was like my first serious relationship. I was living in New York at the time, and it was just it's just, I mean, the person was drinking too much, and that's never fun. So yeah, I got a lot of good songs out of that relationship, but
one good thing from
exactly. I think that's always a good thing. There's a lot of good songwriting material.
Totally. Yeah. Art is inspired by struggle a lot of the times, I think, and pain and all that. Totally good material.
Yeah.
Great. Well, after that, you played Pirates.
Yep.
Is that correct? And that's a more recent single of yours.
Yes. That one actually I also wrote quite a while ago. Not the same relationship. A couple years later maybe. But I also wrote that when I was living in New York, and I put out a version of it at the time when I was kind of like just starting to produce my own stuff. And then I ended up taking it down because I was like, this just doesn't live up to what I want to present now. But I always like the song, and it's one of the songs that's always in our live band set.
Yeah.
So that's what this summer we recorded, the version that we do live with the band. We recorded in a studio, and I released that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool. So this is the acoustic version of it.
Oh, great. And tell me why you chose to release that specific song as a live version.
I think because it didn't feel right for me to just like re-record it, redo it. The band had really they had taken the original parts that I had written and then kind of gave it its own life, and it's one of the band favorites. I think it's one of the like crowd favorites, and it just felt like a nice way to kind of like honor what we've been doing. I've been playing with this backing band now for I think going on like 2 years, and they're awesome, and they really like take the time to learn the parts and like care about the songs and stuff, and they know the songs, and so it felt like the right thing to do.
For sure. And how did you assemble that group, and how did you meet all those musicians?
That's a great question. I think that's hard. I think I connected first with Zach Baker, who is also a Minneapolis-based singer-songwriter, but he plays in lots of bands. He's like an amazing keyboardist. Yeah. I think I connected with him first through, a mutual musician friend, and then just because he plays with so many other people, then I got the other guys together. Cool. And yeah, I always say it on stage. I'm just like so grateful to have them there. They have like great attitude. They are really great musicians. They like my music.
That's important.
Yeah. They like care about the set list. I'll like add in a song or something, and they'll be like, "Hell yeah, that one's a banger." And I'm like, "Cool. I'm glad you're like excited to play this." So, yeah.
So, and what does that like live band kind of contribute to your sound? Has it pushed you in any certain direction since playing with them?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the nice thing for me is that when I play with the band, I don't play an instrument. I just sing. Okay. And I really enjoy doing that. It's
Sure.
very freeing for me. So I think there's that, is that I can, and because they're such good musicians and take it so seriously, I can just trust that they're gonna do the hard part and play the music and get it right, and I can just have fun and like be the performer. So I think it's let me be more of a performer and more of like a kind of outgoing like vocalist and kind of have more energy on stage rather than kind of half in the back of my mind being worried about like what I'm playing or that kind of thing.
For sure.
So that's been really nice.
Yeah, totally. And you guys have a performance as a band
Yes.
tonight, correct?
Speaking of the band,
Yeah.
we're playing tonight at 331 Club in Northeast Minneapolis. Music starts at 10 p.m. It's a free show. Asia Minor, I think I'm saying that right, is on the bill. They're awesome. And then Ginny and the Fizz are also on the bill later. So yeah, people should come hang out.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Well, so you released an EP at the end of this previous year, "Wish You Were Here," right? And then the last two songs of your set today, both of those were from that EP, right? Okay, great. Can you talk to me a little bit about how the process of putting those songs together for that EP?
Yeah, I started like last year, about a year ago. Last January, I guess end of 20, what year is that? End of 2022, I guess. We really had this feeling of like, I want to put out like a project. I want to put out a kind of like a cohesive thing. And I decided I was going to take the month off of January. So like a year ago now, I took January and I drove to LA and spent like 3 weeks in LA. Just kind of writing the songs, and I was working on it by myself, but it was just, I was like, I just want to like set this time aside and go get away. So I wrote wrote most of the songs there in LA. Some of them were inspired, or at least one of them, the main track, "Wish You Were Here," was inspired by like my drive out there.
Oh, cool.
And I started production on that too. And then, yeah, kind of over the course of the past year, then I worked on recording it and getting all the production in and everything, just like on my laptop at home. So just on and off. But yeah, took most of the year, and but I felt good about it. I felt like it was a cohesive thing.
Yeah, great. Can you tell me a bit about how your personal songwriting process works? You were talking about "Wish You Were Here." That song was inspired by the drive down to LA.
Yeah.
So how do those ideas come about usually?
It's a big part of my inspiration is usually like it's definitely like emotionally driven.
Yeah.
And a lot of those emotions, like most people, are around like relationships and things like that. So that's a lot of the inspiration. So usually if I'm like feeling something, I'll get some lines kind of pop in my head, and that's the starting point. And then I love like, I really love like visual imagery in songs.
Yeah.
So "Wish You Were Here," I like that one because I kind of dropped the names of different cities or states I stopped in along the way, and it talks about like New Mexico deserts and things like that, which I love stuff like that. I love when you can like kind of like picture the place or the time or whatever along with like the emotion.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Totally. That's great. And how would you say that this new body of work kind of differs from your more previous stuff?
I think that's a good question. I think I think I've gotten better at producing, and I think my songwriting might be a little more intentional, just like as every time I write a song or produce a song or whatever or mix a song, I've learned something, and I have a little more of an idea of like who I am as an artist and what the vibe I want to give off and things like that. So Yeah, I would say possibly it's just like kind of more intentional.
Okay. Yeah,
If that makes sense.
That's great. Well, I also wanted to talk about your story. I think you have a pretty interesting story. You were telling me that you went out to New York for a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that in New York is kind of where you found yourself as an artist in some way?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I have very fond memories of being in New York. I did feel like I was like doing the starving artist thing in New York, but I think that, those are kinds of the times when you have these like romantic memories then of that. So yeah, I think I didn't really like know what I was doing, but I really had a dream. I was like, I was like out there with a dream and I was hustling and I had a lot of experiences, I think, that shaped me. I think just, playing a whole bunch of gigs and trying to meet people and trying to network with people and all of that. Like if you do that enough, it kind of you don't get like desensitized to it, but you just get like more comfortable with it. You get like less phased by things, So
sure.
I think that was also good.
Yeah, totally. I hear a lot of artists kind of talking about finding their sound as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you have found your sound yet, or are you still evolving in some way?
I definitely think I'm still evolving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think I definitely think it's still evolving. I'd like to think it will get weirder. I think
cool.
I like pop music a lot, and so my music tends to be, I don't want to say formulaic, but it's like structured, and I mean I like things that are somewhat approachable, but I also think there's probably some stuff in me that I haven't like reached yet or developed that it could get weirder and cooler.
Cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, when you said that, I thought of Bjork immediately.
Yeah,
I feel like she's always just pushing the bounds.
Yeah, totally.
It's weird.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. And so another element of your artistry is that you self-produce all of your work. How can you talk to me about how you learned self-production and then how you've grown as a producer?
Yeah. So like when I first started out recording, when I was like in high school and college, I worked with some producers in a studio, and so I wasn't trying to like sit there and learn from them at all, but I think I picked up a little bit of the process of like, all right, you get some drums in there, and now you probably need a bass line, and like, so I had a little bit of a sense of that.
Cool.
And then I just started messing around in GarageBand, and it's just fully been like trial and error.
Yeah.
It's been so much work, and so much of what I put out, I've just been like, this doesn't sound like what I want it to sound like, but it's still always like a step in the right direction. And now I mix everything too, and that is just the most crazy mind twisting thing to try to manage too. So I'm just always on like YouTube, and I definitely think that it's just one of those things where, I mean, it's still not perfect. I can't really, I also don't like have the vocabulary to talk. Like if someone, I think, who had like studied how to mix something properly wanted to have a conversation with me about it, I'm not sure I'd be able to, but I can figure out kind of like my process. So I think I have my own process, just like learning as I'm going, and just through like trial and error, I've managed to get things to sound like pretty darn close to how I want them to sound.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so where do you record your stuff? Do you have a studio of some kind, or did you say you just do it like in your room? Or?
Yeah, okay. I record now I use like Logic Pro, and I use headphones, and I just do it all at home. Most of the instruments aren't like live, I'm like just programming them. So that's fine.
Okay.
I would say that like my like deep dark secret is that a lot of my vocals I do just record on my iPhone, which
really? Wow. They sound great. That's really surprising to me.
It makes the mixing process crazy. Like you got to EQ some wild stuff with that. But I think it started out just because at the time I didn't want to spend a ton of money on getting like a nice microphone set up and trying to like put that all together. And the cheaper mics that I had tried, like honestly just didn't sound any better. So I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna do this. So yeah, some of the like vocals like on the new EP I definitely recorded on my phone, and
cool.
I don't think anyone would recommend that, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And do you think that there is you have a live band song out, but like a project where you do live instrumentals, like with the band all in one room? Do you think you might do that? I
think that would be super cool. I think that would be really fun. I was just started watching that Daisy Jones and the Six show. I don't know if anyone's watched that. And that was actually like inspiring just because a lot of the scenes are with like the band recording in a studio. And I was like, oh man, that actually would be really fun. But I think I'd probably want to do it in a way where it was more of a collaboration, like with another artist, or where I have the right people together, where it's, maybe I wouldn't do it as like a Nina Luna thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, never say never, but it sounds more fun to like have it be more of a collaborative thing, I think. So.
For sure. Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? So you have the show tonight. Mm-hmm. You have a couple more shows booked, correct?
Yep. So we have the one tonight, and then the next one is Sunday, February 4th at KJ's Hideaway in St. Paul. That's an early show. I should know this. I want to say that music starts at like 6.
Cool.
Music starts at 6, doors at 6. It's all online. KJ's Hideaway. League 2 is the other band that's on the bill with us. So we're pretty excited about that. And then, my next one after that is the show in New York that's going to be Tuesday, March 19th at a venue called Berlin in the East Village. Okay. And that's the info on that. And then hoping to have some other things set up probably, you know, in the future as they roll in. Just haven't gotten there quite yet.
And are there any new pieces of music that you're working on that might be released soon? Or?
I probably don't have music to be released soon. I have music videos for songs on the EP that are in the works. I put out one for a song called Put in the Years, and then Wish You Were Here also has a video out right now. So I kind of wanted to get some like fun visuals in for those, but I'm always writing and working on stuff, so there will definitely be new music in the new year, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, for sure. That's great. All right, last question for you. Yeah. I want you to build a dream bill for yourself. Yeah. You get 3 artists to accompany you on this bill.
Okay.
So artists that you want to share the stage with, dead or alive.
Myself and 3 other.
Yourself and 3 other
artists on the bill. Wow. Okay. My immediate thoughts are just like some of the artists that kind of inspired my recent stuff. So one of them would be like Florence and the Machine.
Cool.
Maggie Rogers. Nice. I also like a lot.
Ooh, I could see that.
Yeah.
A good pairing.
Yeah. And then one more. Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, who are like other? I'm just gonna say what's coming to my mind. This would not be a bill that I would actually recommend, but I think it'd be so cool to be on the stage with Rihanna.
Oh yeah,
let's put Rihanna on there.
Yeah, that should be like a special guest that you don't announce, and then Rihanna just comes out at the end.
Yeah. So those are my choices.
That's great.
Sticking with it.
That's beautiful. All right. And do you have any specific venue in mind for it? Go out to New York for it, maybe?
I think like a really big like a festival stage would be really fun.
For sure.
Yeah.
Totally. All right. Well, great answer. Thank you. Yeah, that's about does it for the interview. Thank you so much, Nina, for coming in today. Any
Thank you
last
for having
words for our Radio K listeners?
No, I loved being here, and yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much.